Good morning, children. Sai Ram. Welcome to part 2 of the revision session of the first chapter of history, that is, tracing changes through 1,000 years. Children, in the last revision session, we started from medieval period or medieval era. Then we took a revision on new and old terminologies. We also took a revision on historians and their sources, in which we learned about the manuscripts. So, children, today we are going to revise on new social and political groups, region and empire, old and new religions, and thinking about time and historical periods. Now, children, let us revise this one by one. We will start with the first topic, that is new social and political groups. Children, the study of the 1,000 years between 700 and 750 is a huge challenge to historians, largely because of the scale and the variety of developments that occurred over the period. Children, at different moments in this period, new technologies made their appearances, like the Persian wheel, which was used in irrigation, the spinning wheel in weaving, the firearms in combat. New foods and beverages arrived in the subcontinents, that is potatoes, corns, chilies, teas and coffees, etc. Now, children, look at this picture. It is a picture of the spinning wheel in weaving and coffee. This is a picture of a Persian wheel used in irrigation. Children, with these innovations that we saw in the pictures just now, people came up with new ideas, and along with that came a different period of economic, political, social and cultural changes. This was also a period of great mobility. So, children, we have seen the new technologies, how new technologies made their appearance, right? So now we will learn about emergence of new groups. Okay. So, children, groups of people that traveled long distances, that traveled in search of new opportunities. The subcontinent held immense wealth and the possibility for people to carve a fortune, possibility for people to gain fortune, right? So, children, one group of people who became important during this period were the Rajputs. Now, Rajput is a name that is derived from Rajaputra, which means the son of a ruler. Between the 8th and the 14th century, the term was applied more generally to a group of warriors who claimed Kshatriya caste status. Rajputra not only included ruler, chieftains, it also meant soldiers and commanders of the army. The Rajputs were attributed with a chivalric code of conduct, that is, extreme valor and great sense of loyalty by the poets and bards. So, children, along with the Rajputs, Sikhs, Ahoms, Jats, Kayasthas and Marathas were other group of people or a caste of scribes and secretaries, and there were other prominent classes of people who became equally politically important. Now, look at this picture, or rather look at this flow chart. It shows that the Rajput is derived from the term Rajaputra, which means a ruler, A Rajput belonged to Kshatriya caste, included rulers, soldiers, commanders, and chieftains, and the main qualities were chivalry, courage, and loyalty. So, children, now let us see how the life of a forest dweller changed. So, throughout this entire period, there was a gradual clearing of forest and also the extension of agriculture. This change was faster and more complete in some areas than in others. Children, changes in the habitat forced many forest dwellers to migrate. So, what is habitat? Habitat refers to the environment of a region and the social and economic lifestyle of its residents. So, where some of them started tilling land and become peasants. They became a part of a large complex society and were required to pay taxes and offer goods and services to the local lords. So, children, we saw the changes that took place due to the extension of agriculture. Now, we move on to the next topic, that is emergence of jatis. As society became more divided, people were grouped into jatis or subcaste according to their backgrounds and occupations. Ranks kept on changing as per the power, influence, and resources that were controlled by a particular group of people or members of particular jati. Now, jati of one place differed from the same jati at another place. Jatis framed their own rules and regulations in order to manage their own people. An assembly of elders called Jati Panchayats were responsible for enforcing the regulation. Now, let us revise the next topic, that is region and empire. Children, the subcontinent was divided into several regions which were ruled by the empires of different dynasties like the Cholas, the Tughlaqs, Mughals, Khaljis, etc. A Sanskrit Prashasti, that is writings, praised the Delhi Sultan Ghiyazuddin Balban, who ruled over a vast empire stretching from Bengal in the east to Ghazni in Afghanistan in the west, including all the South India. Children, people of Gauda, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat apparently fled before the army of Ghiyazuddin Balban. However, many historians consider it to be an exaggeration. Now, let us understand what is pan-regional rule or pan-regional empire. Dynasties like the Cholas, Tughlaqs, Mughals were able to build a pan-regional empire that spanned diverse regions. When the Mughal Empire declined, it led to re-emergence of the regional states. But years after pan-regional rule altered the overall character of the region in the realms of the governance, the management of the economy, cultures and language. Through the 1000 years between 700 and 1750, the character of different regions felt the impact of a larger pan-regional forces of integration without losing their own distinctiveness. Now we move on to the next topic, that is old and new religions. Children, the 1,000 years of history witnessed a major developments in religious traditions. People's belief in the divine was sometimes deeply personal, but usually it was collective. Collective belief in the supernatural agency, religion, was often closely connected with the social and economic organizations of the local communities. As the social worlds of these groups altered, so did their beliefs. It was during this period that important changes occurred in Hinduism. These included the worship of the new deities, the construction of temples by royalty, and the growing importance of Brahmanas, the priests, as dominant groups of the society. Children, their knowledge of Sanskrit text earned the Brahmanas a lot of respect in the society. Their dominant position was consolidated by the support of their patrons, which is new rulers searching for prestige. Now, what is patrons? Patrons means an influential, wealthy individual who supports another person, an artist, a craftsperson, a learned man, or a noble. So, one of the major development that took place in this was emergence of the idea of bhakti, that is, of a loving personal deity that devotees could reach without the aid of priest or elaborate rituals. This was also a period when new religions appeared in the subcontinent. Merchants and migrants, they were the first to bring the teachings of the Holy Quran to India in the 17th century. Muslims regard the Quran as their holy book and accept the sovereignty of the one God, Allah. Many rulers that time were patrons of Islam and the ulama, that is, learned theologians and jurists. And like Hinduism, Islam was interpreted in a variety of ways by its followers. Now, look at this flowchart here. Religious developments that took place in Hinduism, that is, importance of Brahmanas grew and temples were constructed by the kings. Then, idea of bhakti became popular, that is, devotees could reach their deity without the aid of the priest or elaborate rituals. It accepted the sovereignty. Under Islam, it accepted the sovereignty of one God, that is Allah. See. Now, Islam was interpreted in two ways by the Shia and the Sunni Muslims, and Muslims regarded Quran as their holy book. Let us understand the facts about Islam. Many rulers patronized Islam and the ulama, that is, the learned theologians and jurists. Now, let us see who were the followers of the Islam. They were the Shia Muslims and the Sunni Muslims. Now, let us understand their beliefs. Shia Muslims believed that the Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law Ali was the legitimate leader of the Muslim community, whereas the Sunni Muslims accepted the authority of the early leaders, that is, the Khalifas of the community and the succeeding Khalifas. Children, historians made the study of time by dividing the past into large segments. They divided the history of India into three periods. It was Hindu, Muslim, and British. Now children, the study of time is made somewhat easier by dividing the past into large segments or periods that possessed shared characteristics. So, as I said, in the middle of the 19th century, British historians divided the history of India into three periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. Now, this division was based on the idea that the religion of rulers was the only important historical change and that there were no other significant developments in the economy, society, or culture. But children, such a division also ignored the rich diversity of the subcontinent. With this, I end this session of the revision lecture of History Chapter 1. See you in the next revision lecture. Till then, goodbye and take care.